Tom Brady is a Buccaneer. We have our first 12 signed up in Dynasty. And the NFL collective bargaining agreement has been signed. All of this and more in 20 seconds. Hey fellow fanatics, welcome to the Fanatically Real broadcast sponsored by Football, Darts, and Fantasy Sports Alliance. Hope that you all can see us out there. Everything was working fine until 5 minutes before we decided to go live, and now we're not sure what's actually working and not working. I see Ryan McNeil's on with us, Cheryl Storm's on, Brad Buckner, Bill the Third, Misty's on, MJ's on with us. How are all of you? Somebody type something to me to see if it'll actually come across to me or if I'm only going to see who's joining tonight. So first thing we'd like to talk about is Football Darts. We'd like to thank our broadcast sponsor. Football Darts is a dart game that combines the skill of traditional darts with the strategies of American football. This innovative dart game is played on a uniquely designed multiple target dartboard. Unlike traditional British darts, American football darts is a game that combines both the skill of darts and the strategies of football. It can be played in sports bars, at tailgate events, as league tournaments, or as a leisure activity in the comfort of your own home. If you would like to check out their officially licensed collegiate dartboards, go to footballdarts.com. And thank you to Jonathan Davies for sponsoring this broadcast. Misty says, hey. Jason says, I see you. And Brad says the stream is looking good. Let's hope so, because it is frozen on my side. Brad, since you're out there, next thing we want to talk about is Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast. Our partners over there, the Empty Wagon makes a lot of noise. Listen to Josh, Eric, and Brad talk fantasy football. They are your one-stop shop for fantasy football information and news. The best new fantasy football podcast on the internet. They talk rankings, projections, and a whole lot of comedy. They released a show on Sunday titled Is It Over?, where they discuss the coronavirus and how it's affecting sports. Go find them wherever you listen to your podcast and subscribe to the Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast. If you like the show tonight, please share and subscribe and follow us on all of our social media that you see down there at the bottom. Please go out there and do that. So the next thing we've got on the schedule for the night is the membership count. So we are currently at 23 redraft members and 13 dynasty members. So we wanted to give you a breakdown of what that looks like by region. We've got 1 in the Appalachian region, 2 in the Central, 1 in the Euro region, 6 in the Great Lakes region, 1 in the Mid-Atlantic, 2 in the New England, 1 in the Pac North, 6 in the South Atlantic, and 3 in the Southwest. We won't reveal who the first 12 are yet, even though we do have our 13 Dynasty players, because we want to make sure that all 12 of those teams that have committed get us which team brand they would like to use for the Dynasty League this year. So we are doing defunct professional football teams as a theme for the Dynasty League. So what does that mean? So we want the members or the general managers of the Dynasty teams to pick a defunct professional football team to represent as their brand. We've had guys picking teams from the recently defunct AAF, the original XFL, arena football, indoor football. Heck, we've even tonight, we've had 2 guys pick teams from the 1920s NFL that are no longer copyrighted or trademarked. So once we get all 12 teams, which teams they would like to represent, then what we're going to do is what we're calling the parade of teams. I'm working really hard on doing some graphics for each one of those teams, a new banner, as you were kind of like what we had at the top of MFL last year for our redraft teams. Can look a little bit different for the Dynasty teams. We're still waiting on 5 of those teams to let us know who their brand is going to be. Once we get that done and the entire parade of teams are done, at that same moment, we're going to do the draft selection show, which is going to determine what our draft order is going to be for the Dynasty League. And speaking of draft selection, so Let me see who. Wait a minute. Before I go on, let's see. Misty says audio is fine on her end. Audio is not synced. Jason said, should I be the Houston Gamblers or the Norfolk Neptunes? I think either one of them will be good, Bill. I would love to go out and see what the logo looks like for the Norfolk Neptunes because I don't think I've ever seen that one, but I do know what the Houston Gamblers looks like already. Jason says you should be the Houston Gamblers. Phaedra on with us. Matt Furby on with us. Bet I know why you're wearing that jersey. I bet you can tell why I'm wearing the jersey tonight, Jason. Actually, it was a suggestion of Misty to wear this whole get-up tonight. And as soon as she said it, I was like, you know, it's a great idea. I should be wearing this. Rocky on with us as well. Tampa Tom what? I love it. So, all right, so the NFL or the FSA draft schedule. So, due to the coronavirus, there was a rumor that the NFL draft was going to get pushed to the right by a month, which would have affected our draft timeline for the Dynasty teams. But that is no longer true. The NFL draft will still take place April 23rd through the 25th. It will be televised. However, the extravaganza that they were going to have in Vegas has been called off. So, we are going to start our Dynasty drafts the Monday after the NFL draft. So that's going to be on the 27th of April. The way we've got it set up right now is each pick is going to last 6 hours. So the point of that is to try to get 3 picks each day, because what's going to happen is we're going to pause the clock overnight between midnight and 6 o'clock in the morning. However, what we have done is we've had all of those teams that are in the first 12 download the app GroupMe, as you all know what that is that have been in the league for a while. That way, in case they're not around their email, to get the email from MFL that says, hey, it's your turn to pick, we can reach out to each other on GroupMe and say, hey, it's your turn to pick, go out there and make your pick, so we can facilitate that 6 hours a little bit quicker. So that kind of takes care of where we're at on the Dynasty draft. So where are we at on the redraft? The redraft leagues draft. That is going to take place on 29 August. That should have been included in the rules that we sent out for everybody. 29 August. So make sure you mark that on your calendars. 29 August. One more time, 29 August. The times will be different for each one of the regions, but that will be the day that we are drafting. Lottie Dottie, everybody. There will be no exceptions this year. We are doing it a week before Labor Day. That way it doesn't affect anybody's long weekend plans. So make sure you mark that on your calendar. All right. Let's talk about the NFL Collective Bargaining Agreement. That word that I could not say during our last show, which was the first show of the season. So the ratification vote went in the yay favor of the CBA. It was very, very close, though, with a 1,019 to 959 vote in favor of the new CBA. Under the deal's terms, players will receive 48% of the league revenue starting in 2020. This is up from the previous 47%. How the league is going to get more revenue to be able to allow the players to get up to 48%. Some of that is because of the expanded postseason that is going to happen this year in 2020. There will be 7 teams from each one of the conferences going to the playoffs this year. In the year 2021, or at least as early as the 2021, they are looking to implement a 17-game regular season. And to facilitate that, they're only going to have 3 games in the preseason. So those are all things that were agreed upon in the NFL Collective Bargaining Agreement, and it has been signed. And before we get into this NFL free agency frenzy, let's see, what have we missed out there? I missed the draft schedule because you said it may not be happening. So for us, Chris, the draft schedule for the Dynasty League is going to start immediately after the NFL draft on that Monday, which should be April 27th. And then the redraft league will draft on August 29th, and that will be the entire alliance drafting on that day. It'll just be at different times during that day. All right, so let's get down to this NFL free agency. So we're going to break down the biggest names in free agency and where they are, where they went to, and we're going to break it down by position. And of course, the only thing that we really care about is the offensive side of the ball, so that's all we're going to focus on. I'm going to do these in order of quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. So, of course, the biggest name that was in free agency, and he made the move, and the reason for the outfit tonight was Tom Brady, former quarterback of the New England Patriots, getting signed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Rumors have it that he is already reaching out to coaches in Tampa Bay, saying that he wants Antonio Brown as part of the receiving core with him going there. So we'll have to see how that looks. Let's see. Chicago acquired quarterback Nick Foles from the Jaguars in exchange for a 2020 fourth round pick. Carolina gave former New Orleans quarterback Teddy Bridgewater a 3-year, $63 million deal, and then told Cam Newton he could go seek a trade. Former Chargers quarterback Phillip Rivers is now a Colt. Detroit signed Chase Daniel, formerly of the Bears, to a 3-year, $13 million contract to play backup. Marcus Mariota has been added by the Raiders. Cleveland signed former Washington quarterback Case Keenum to a 3-year, $18 million contract. Dallas Cowboys have placed a franchise tag on Dak. Minnesota quarterback Kirk Cousins signs a 2-year, $66 million extension. And the Titans signed Ryan Tannehill to a 4-year, $118 million contract. And that rounds out the quarterbacks that were signed or moved during free agency. So let's talk about the running backs now. Number one out the gate, and these are in no particular order. Steelers signed fullback Derek Watt. Yes, of that Watt family. So he's going to be joining his brother over in Pittsburgh. He was originally with the Chargers, or formerly with the Chargers. Miami has agreed to terms with running back Jordan Howard, formerly of the Eagles, on a 2-year contract. Arizona Cardinals signed David Johnson. Arizona Cardinals shipped David Johnson over to the Texans in a crazy deal that involved Texans wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. We'll talk about him when we get to the wide receivers. So David Johnson now a Texan. Cardinals also made a move at the running back position by putting a transition tag on Kenyon Drake. Titans slapped the franchise tag on Derrick Henry. Falcons released Devontae Freeman. That was a pretty big surprise to me on that one. And the Chargers will not be re-signing Melvin Gordon, and he is now a free agent. So we already mentioned the DeAndre Hopkins move, so we're just going to go ahead and go into the wide receivers. DeAndre Hopkins joins Larry Fitzgerald and now Kyler Murray on the Cardinals. Big move there. And then the Texans turn around and replace Hopkins with Randall Cobb, formerly of the Cowboys. And then the Cowboys re-signed Amari Cooper to a 5-year, $100 million contract. Bills acquired Stephon Diggs from the Vikings. And then our last piece of wide receiver news, Bengals put the franchise tag on A.J. Green. Tight ends, Austin Hooper is now a Cleveland Brown after leaving Atlanta. 4-year, $44 million contract, making him the highest paid tight end. Probably going to reset the market on the tight end contracts. Chargers put the franchise tag on Hunter Henry. Chicago signed Jimmy Graham, formerly of Green Bay. Tennessee released Delaney Walker. And there's been said to be some interest from the Washington Redskins, Indianapolis Colts, and Green Bay Packers. Jason Witten, formerly of the Cowboys, signed with the Raiders for 1 year. And our last piece of tight end and free agent news, former Ravens tight end Hayden Hurst is now a Falcon. And wow, that was a lot to say right there. Let me take a break and see what we got from words over there. Jay Witt, yeah, I knew somebody would say something about it, Brad. Jay Witt, yeah, I'm really surprised by that. Out of the booth to the Cowboys for a year, made him, I think I've heard you guys say for sure he was a number one tight end this year, and now he's with the Raiders. So what does that do to the tight end that's already there? That's what I'm wondering about. Jason said he's heard a rumor that Luck was going to come out to sign with Pats. Ooh, wouldn't that be an interesting rumor? And MJ says Hoop. Yeah, I know why she's saying that. She's a big fan of Hooper. Dallas really didn't do much, you're right. Didn't realize how big the Hooper contract was, Chris. Yeah, Njoku has to go with that Hooper do. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be Darren Waller. That's who. That's who it was. Yeah, that's who I was thinking of when I was trying to think of who the wide receiver, or I'm sorry, the tight end was over there in Oakland. So yeah, or Vegas, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, so I'm interested in what that does now that Witten's over there. All right, so let's talk about YouTube. So don't forget we have a YouTube channel now. We are pushing these videos over to YouTube. Brandon from Finger Lakes is doing that for us. They are going up slowly because they are still sitting with us on Facebook right now. And we will continue doing the Facebook Live. And we will continue keeping the videos stored on Facebook and on YouTube as they get loaded up there, at least for now. On 1 August, when we do the draft selection show for all of our redraft teams, that will be the last time that we will have videos saved on Facebook. After that, if you want to watch a rewatch or replay or a rerun of the show, you're going to have to go over to YouTube and watch the show. We will still do the lives on Facebook, but they will not stay on Facebook whenever we are done. They will only be on YouTube. Reason we're mentioning all of that is we would like to get a custom YouTube channel name, and the only way we can do that is if we get 100 subscribers. So please go over and search Fantasy Sports Alliance on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. We are currently sitting at 34 members. We would like to be able to reach 100. There are lots of videos over there for you to go out and watch right now that are old videos of ours from 2014, 2015. We are slowly getting those over to Brandon for him to get those updated for us. We're going backwards in time, or from the oldest to the newest, so you'll start to see those videos come across. But if you still want to watch any videos, they're out there on Facebook, I think all the way back to 2016, I think maybe. So if you want to go back and watch those. All right, so what does our next broadcast look like? We are sticking to the every other week for our broadcast, just like we said we were going to do on the first episode of the year until the NFL draft. So we will not be back to do another broadcast until 1 April, so make sure you mark your calendars for that. I'll come over here and see what everybody's saying before we move on. Cam is not going to New England. Is that what you said, Rocky? That'd be interesting where he ends up at. Really surprised they ended up signing Bridgewater for as much money as they did. Jonathan Broughton on with us. Jason says if we get 100 subscribers, we can do mobile lives to YouTube. That would be awesome. Thank you for that piece of information, Jason. Amanda on with us. How are you? Do we use the same sign and password? Yes, Rocky. So your same sign in and password for MFL is going to work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll over the 2019 season into 2020 as we get more people signed up. We've only got the 23 in the redraft league right now, but now that we do have a full first 12 for the Dynasty, once I have all of those graphics done and we do the parade of teams and the draft selection show immediately after that, I'm also going to set up that website with all of the parameters and the settings for that, and then all of the logos will go up there, and the divisional breakdown will happen at that time, and everything will happen as soon as we get all of those graphics done. So for those of you that are in that first 12 and you still haven't given me a team name or a brand that you want to be, let me know. I am still off on leave all the way until Monday, so I will be working on those. In fact, I knocked out 2 or 3 more today of that, so we're getting closer to getting that first 12 done. Brandon Valenka on with us. What's going on, Brandon? Yes, April Fools will be the next broadcast, and it won't be an April Fool. We will be doing that broadcast as long as the technology works for us. Hoping that the next show that we do will be a lot better than what they've been the first 2 shows of the year. We're going to go out and purchase some additional RAM for the computer, so hopefully that will take care of some of this, the lag that we're having. Hopefully that will get us through the 2020 season, and then the 2021 season we're going to have a brand new computer. TB12 to Tampa Bay, sad day in New England. I was wondering, all of our New England fans that were up there, if you guys are going to be on tonight. I thought maybe Randy would be on too. I was going to give him a little bit of little bit of crap about him moving over to Tampa Bay. All the live feed stopped. That's not good. Brandon, I'm glad you're on right now. Oh, awesome. Well, Good luck with that whenever you get this to upload. This is getting ridiculous. I will get the RAM ordered tomorrow, no doubt. No doubt. Hopefully you can still hear me on audio, though, and you're just stuck on my face for right now. So let's talk about Squad Locker. So Squad Locker is allowing us to do one-of-a-kind merchandise on their website. So if you would still like a Squad Locker store and do not have one yet, let us know, and we will get that worked for you. In addition to that, now that we're starting to get our Dynasty teams worked out, and because we are using teams that are not copyrighted or trademarked, we should have no problem being able to put a store together also for your Dynasty team. So if you're a Dynasty general manager and you would like a store on Squad Locker, let us know, and we'll set that up for you as well. Jason says it's back. And Brandon says, as long as you're recording via OBS, but the entire video stopped, including audio. Well, great. Yes, I am recording it right now, so we'll see what that looks like when we're done for the night and when it gets over to you, brother. All right, so last topic of the night. We've got a happy birthday to put out there. So we know of at least one that was in the month of March since the last time that we went live. We are marking the birthdays on our long-range calendar for FSA as you sign up, and you're putting that information in the sign-up sheet form when you're signing up for the membership. We're adding that to our calendar. That way we can say happy birthday to you and make sure that you get your discounts on merchandise on Squad Locker. And our one birthday for the month is our General Manager of the Year from 2019, Matt Kroll, from the General Manager of the Maniacs. So happy birthday to Matt. His birthday was on Monday, 2 days ago. Before we get ready to wrap up the show, Jason says better on his phone than it was on his laptop. I'm wondering if are you doing your phone through the airwaves or through the Wi-Fi? And then I'm going to assume that means that your cell phone network is probably better than your Wi-Fi in the house. All right, before we get out of here for the night, would like to thank all of our 2020 sponsors. Thank you to Brandon Gums from Finger Lakes, who's on right now with us. MJ from Southern Sirens Sugar Scrub, she's also on with us right now. Would like to thank our returning sponsors, Football Darts, their owner Jonathan Davies, Nature Coast Tailgating, their owner Brandon Valenka. Brandon was on just a few minutes ago. As we announced during our visit with Brandon last year, he is sponsoring this year's World Championship. The winner of this year's World Championship Bowl will get a full-size set of custom cornhole boards with your team's brand on them, along with a custom set of cornhole bags. Thank you to our partners over at Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast, Brad, Eric, and Josh. And of course, thanks to the recast and the frontman Armando Gutierrez and the rest of the boys. You can hear their new music at the beginning of the show. That is off their latest album called Devastator. That song is called Full Throttle. Make sure you go out and check out their album and download it wherever you get your normal music downloads. Thank you for watching the Fanatically Real broadcast, sponsored by Football Darts and Fantasy Sports Alliance. If you like the show, please like, share, and subscribe to the show, and follow us on all of our social media outlets. And we will see you in 2 weeks on 1 April for our third broadcast of the year. All of you have a great night and stay away from the virus.